Willy Seyama, who's a digital marketing strategist and founder of Initiate Integrated Solutions, joins me in studio now. Thanks so much for your time. Before we go into the details of social media and the behaviors there, how much do brands have a say in what a personality does when they're away from their work when it comes to a contract such as this?
The interesting thing with this case specifically is that, to the best of my knowledge, Minnie and Itumeleng have been separated for quite some while now, so I have no idea why it's making the news. You will know that he responded on Instagram and Twitter to the effect that actually there is no story here. It's just tabloids, generating some news so they can sell papers. And you might start wondering whether there isn't a case. But being that as it may, we know that the banking sector specifically, and in South Africa for that matter, is a fairly conservative sector. One may suspect that they are wary of Kune's image, and there is a chance that they might kind of whisper something in Minnie's ear to the effect that she must watch her own image because she is a good girl by and large. But being that as it may, I suppose it is more brand related than it is anything. Think of Tiger Woods as an example. He went through a very bad patch, we know, for reasons that we're not going to get into, but Nike retained him through their sponsorship deal, to this day for that matter. So I think it's more a brand issue. And maybe there's also a brand power thing going on here, because if you're Tiger Woods, in some cases you are so big as a brand all on your own that brands can't be running roughshod over you. Okay. So I am of the view that it is a balance that has to do with brand power. Maybe Minnie is not as big enough brand so far. That's why Nedbank can kind of whisper that kind of thing in her ear.
Okay. Let's talk about social media and brand building, not just with regards to personalities and not mentioning any specifics, but how much power that has to build or break a brand today.
There is certainly a lot of power that comes with social media. Let's take an example of Minnie, even though the idea is not to mention any specifics, but Minnie has got over 850 followers on Twitter.
1,000, yeah. In
South African terms, that's quite a bit. You compare her to her ex, Kune, who has just over 150,000 followers. So from a brand power point of view on social media, as it were, and using Twitter as a proxy in this case, Minnie is more powerful than Kune. Mm-hmm. And we also know that Minnie as a brand, whether as a personal or corporate brand for that matter, because individuals are becoming corporate brands in their own right, she is bigger than a lot of corporate brands that we have in this country. I haven't checked the numbers, but I don't think Nedbank is that big as a brand, as it were. So when you carry that kind of power, you also it also means that you have a bit of gravitas that you carry with you, and certainly Minnie has got more gravitas than Kune.
Does it matter, you're talking about the numbers between followers, does it matter whether your audience is tailored or whether it's mass, depending on what you want to do?
You are asking a right question, but when you look at it from a public figure point of view, both Minnie and Kune are public figures.
Okay.
So they would love to have throngs of followers. But when you compare them to some of the other guys who are niched in terms of their industry, and I can't think of one at the top of my head right now, it wouldn't be a numbers issue, it would be a quality of the followers issue.
I'm thinking about someone like Lerato Mbele, who maybe has 40,000 followers and is on. So I just want to move away from the celebrities. I know that it's a very easy reference point, but in terms of social media and the digital world, when it comes to the things that we're talking about, how do you then need to get your message across depending on what kind of a company you are? Is there a formula for all companies, all public figures, or do you also need to tailor that depending on either what industry you're in, whether you're a corporation or celebrity?
There certainly is, the nice thing about social media is that anyone can create their own formula that is suitable for their own brand.
Okay.
And it applies like that with all brands, if you like, because Nedbank is very different from FNB. And in the same case, from a personal point of view, one brand is very different to another. Lerato Mbele is one such example who operates more at an international level purely because she's associated with an international TV station. So she would be positioning herself a bit differently to some of the other personalities that are operating in that space. So it really depends on a brand and the positioning of such brand, which will then determine how they tailor their messages. Some brands, they are, I'm not going to be even mentioning names, but they kind of know it all. Well, you look at Kaya Dlanga, he's a know-it-all. Anything that happens, Kaya Dlanga gets involved. But I'm almost certain that Lerato Mbele wouldn't be doing the same because she's positioning herself in a very different way to what Kaya does.
Thanks so much for your time, Willy Seyama, a digital marketing strategist and founder of Initiate Integrated Solutions, talking all things social media and celebrities there.